All right. I forgot to play our intro, so I pushed the wrong button. So uh, here we go, baby.
No matter what, you have to put yourself first. If you're not aware that there's change that needs to be made, how can you fix it? This information is fire. I had to come to the realization that, number one, I was an emotional eater. We need to accept the decisions that we make. Because if we can do that, then we have the power to change them. You came here so that way you can start moving into your heaven path. Once again, thank you very much. I appreciate it. We're going to bring up your next speaker. That's going to be the wonderful, magnificent Chris James.
If you talk about how much you hate your fat, your body has been working all this time to keep you alive.
I don't think anybody in my circle understands impossible.
All right, we back. You know what I'm saying?
Round two, we're back.
Yeah. Y'all ready?
Yeah.
Me and Steve were talking before the live start. He said, "You gonna play both the intros?" I said, "Yeah, I'm gonna play both the intros." All right, let's go. Boom.
No intros.
Nobody's getting an intro today. What's going on, everybody? So today, I don't know. You know, sometimes I be getting like a vibe. You know how the old pastors used to say the Spirit gave them a word. Like I almost understand what they were talking about now. Like I was just sitting here. Well, it was yesterday, and I'm like, yeah, I need to talk about something, and the word or the phrase or the topic on my mind was accountability. We've been talking a lot about, you know, affirmations and creating things using the power for manifestation, which apparently is new age. Shout out to all y'all that's upset that we talk about all this new age stuff now. It's like, no, it's not new age. It's just the way things work. It's like, you know, you wouldn't call something the laws of nature. You wouldn't call it new age. It's just the law. It's just the framework in which our world is designed. Like, it's just how things are. Huh?
It said it's ancient.
It's definitely ancient, which is new age ancient.
We live in backwards world.
It's backwards world, right?
Yeah.
Because like we'll talk about ancient practices. We'll talk about ancient, really just, you know, things that our ancestors would have done, and people will call it new age. And I'm like, that's so weird. Don't y'all think that's weird? Like don't you feel weird saying that word? Like new age. What does that mean? What is that? Somebody put it in the chat. What is new age? I don't understand that. I'm not new age. I don't know what that is. I can't be something I don't know what it is. But what I am, I'm on a journey though. I'm on a journey of discovery. Anybody that got my journal, one of the quotes I put on the journey relates to the journey of discovery. And what I have found to be very impactful for me is, you know, I really stopped caring about the destination as much. It's more about the journey itself. The journey of discovery opens up a world of possibilities that you could have never fathomed. You have an outcome that you want, but the journey is going to, you know, like a side quests. Mm-hmm. You go on all these little side quests, like on Zelda or something. You know what I'm saying? So today I wanted to talk about accountability, and I brought along my number one coach, Stephen Michael, with me. You already know what it's going to be like tonight.
Yeah, what's going on, everybody? This is a very interesting topic. Accountability is like kryptonite, and kryptonite is the obviously it's from Superman, and everyone knows that. And whenever he gets around kryptonite, it weakens him, it dulls his hyper senses, it literally begins to kill him. It doesn't just make him human-esque or human-like. It literally drains his life force, and just the crystal being around him can actually kill him. So when you compare accountability to kryptonite, that's actually quite scary. And when I think about it from an emotional stance, whenever we have to be held accountable, or whenever we have to take part of responsibility of a situation, which is of us being accountable in that situation, if we don't, there's some emotions that can really start to drain us and can eventually begin to kill us, right? So we're not even talking about in the sense of this a metaphor, like this is actually real. So if you think of, the emotion of guilt, right, or shame, which they kind of go hand in hand, they are different, but they're basically, I call them cousins. They're emotion cousins. And when someone feels guilty or shameful of something, right? If I am working to place accountability in your court for your wellness journey, and my job as a coach is to hold you accountable. You said that you were going to eat this way. You said that you had goals. You said that you had a process and a plan, and my job is to then hold you accountable and assist you in making that happen, right? What I will find at times is that when people are not doing well, they start to kind of disappear, right? They'll disappear from, my one-on-ones. They'll disappear from the group, right? They'll start to kind of shrink into themselves, and then they will then internalize that accountability that was placed on them, and then they will start to then feel shame, or they will shame themselves because they knew that they weren't doing the things that they were supposed to do. And we know that shame can also lead to depression. Depression can lead to more guilt, and it eventually, of course, can lead to you no longer being alive, right? You can get to the point where you can eat yourself into an early grave due to depression. So it literally is not a metaphor, right? The saying that accountability is like kryptonite is literal. Wow. So I just want to make that that connection, because it's real. And then that's just shame, right? You still have guilt, because then people can once again internalize guilt. And you can do two things with guilt. You can let it weigh you down, and then you eventually can start to feel shame for for you not sticking to your plan or sticking to your wellness journey. Or you can then use guilt, go through a process of transmutation, and then use that to help fuel you, right, to then get back in the game. You can use guilt to then help you get into the gym and start moving your body. You can use guilt to help you start changing your diet, or start journaling. Whatever it is that you're doing, you can use that emotion. But when that emotion and then gets turned into shame, there's no using shame. And I know that people are like, oh no, I think shaming is good, right? You can't shame anyone. Shame is something that someone internalizes, something they place on themselves, right? A lot of times we will guilt people, and then they will take that guilt and then they will internalize it, and it will become shame. But you can't actually shame somebody. It is a way that you feel about self, a way that you feel that not just the action was bad, so you disappearing, you going off of your regiment was bad, but now you internalize it and you say, I am a bad person because I can't stick to my wellness journey, right? That's the difference. Shame says, I am not a good person. I am not worthy because I can't stick to this. Guilt says, hey, you should have been able to do this. Why didn't you, right? That's guilt, someone putting something on you. Shame is you then internalizing it, saying, I'm not worthy. I don't deserve weight loss. I don't deserve a healthy relationship. So accountability can really turn into those two emotions. And then that can, and it is, a lot of people's wellness kryptonite.
Now that's deep.
Come on, man. I had, you know what I mean? I don't know what you had. You know what I mean? I said, hey, man,
Listen. The wellness journey and everything that encompasses this is the goal is to just be open to learning. What it sounds like, for the most part, outside of shame, most of these emotions and feelings can be beneficial if you have the right perspective, if you channel the energy correctly. We tend to look at good emotions, bad emotions, positive, negative, and I've said this many times, these concepts don't exist many times outside of your perception. There's a lot of things that happen that are considered bad, whether it's happening to you or something that you have done. It might, we might, society might say that's bad, but perception is really what shapes how you feel about it or how that individual feels about it, right? These people that are in this circumstance. So I think that if something quote unquote bad happens with you or with you and another person or whatever the case may be, and you guys can have a perspective of learning, understanding, and growth at the foundation of this experience, then it wouldn't be a bad thing. When I look at, my life experiences, the mistakes I've made, the trauma I've endured, it's all built a foundation that I now build my house on. And it's from a place of growth and development as a person. You have to have this array of experiences with people in order to build this foundation that's rock solid. Like, you want a rock solid foundation, and the way you do it is kind of through trial and error. You have to appreciate that journey. Accountability is so crucial in all of this, because if you have an inability to take accountability, you're not going to get what you need to get from the experiences you have. So when we talk about like the health and wellness thing, a lot of times we want to put our health and wellness in the hands of someone else, whether it's a white coat, whether it's a wellness practitioner, a coach. We want to put our health in the hands of somebody else, and you just simply will never win that way. Because when you give this journey, when you give this process to someone else, it relieves accountability, and that feels good. That feels comfortable. That feels safe. That is complacency at its finest. You have no responsibility. When you're the quarterback of the team, you have all the responsibility. When you're maybe a safety, or when you're maybe a kicker, or when you're maybe, a different position, when you're not the captain, you kind of get to put the blame on somebody else. I mean, everyone should take responsibility for their role, but we're going to blame the captain. You know what I'm saying? We're going to blame the person who's steering the ship, honestly. And that is a big responsibility for a lot of people, and they don't want it. And society has taught us that that's okay. It's okay to be the victim. It's okay to put your responsibility on somebody else. Shoot, we do it spiritually all the time. The devil made me do it. Why is it that when something bad happens in your life, or even if you do something bad, the devil made me do it? The devil influenced me. Why is that? Why do we use that cop out? Because it relieves your responsibility in it. Since you didn't want to do it, you were enticed, you were coerced, you were outside of your mind, So now you could say, okay, there's me and there's this thing that happened or this action that took place, and we have nothing to do with each other. My hands are clean. The problem is you will never grow. You will never be a part of society that is able to impact other people. Like, don't you want to have a positive impact on your friends and family, at least your family? How can you ever do that if you're not accountable for anything? How can you, okay, you don't want to be accountable. Cool. But you definitely want other people to be accountable. Am I right, Steve?
Sure.
If I don't take accountability, well, where am I putting it? I'm putting it somewhere else. So I don't want to be accountable, but I will surely put accountability on somebody else. And who is this somebody else? Your son, your daughter, your husband, your wife, your pastor, your doctor. And then if they don't take accountability, now you get mad. Oh, now you want to throw a fit, right? Like, if we take accountability for the role that we play in our health, our wellness, our spiritual journey, our relational goals, and those sorts of things, yes, it does hurt, right? Might hurt your pride, might hurt your ego. But then, of course, you get the opportunity to adjust and adapt. You get to adjust and adapt. That's growth, right? And this is the wellness journey. I find that in my position, we have people that show us that they have no desire to be accountable. They want everything to be on someone else to the smallest detail. If everything is not set up perfectly the way they want, if it don't go right, they can blame someone else. The reality is obstacles are going to come. There's no getting around that. You might as well accept it. Life's not going to be perfect. And like I tell you guys, you really don't want frictionless relationships. You don't want frictionless relationships. We need friction. That's why it's a thing. If we didn't have friction, we wouldn't even be able to walk. We would just be gliding everywhere without being able to stop, sliding all over the place. Friction, it has a negative connotation. Oh, them two, they had friction. What does that mean? It means that their energetic auras were coming in contact with each other. Okay. Like, learn to adapt and overcome. That should be, huh?
It reminds me of the so you know that in our 40-day wellness class we talk about the king baby myths, and king baby myth number 10 is the dropout, right? Which it basically says, right, these are personality traits for those who don't know, right? If you don't play the game my way, I won't play the game at all, right? So that is the myth, or that is the personality trait. This is the person that says, I'm just what was it from South Park? Cartman. I'm taking my ball and I'm going home. Right? It is the person that in the street where all the kids are out playing and they're playing kickball, they're playing baseball, and then the one person who has the ball, who brings the ball, and they're unhappy, then they will take the ball and they will go home. Right? These people are typically paralyzed by fear of failure, right? Rejection, and we will typically attempt nothing and feel like the world owes us. We typically will find themselves to be discouraged by pessimistic, and we give up before we even start. Right? This is the personality trait called the dropout, and these are not necessarily negative, but they're things that we want to then find about ourselves, so that way we can start to influence and adjust them a little bit. But that's the personality trait that when you were talking, that came to my mind. It is the person that says, well, it should go this way. I have an expectation that life and things should go this way, which also, of course, leads us into perfectionism, which is a way of thinking, or an unhealthy thinking style, right? Thinking that things are always going to present themselves in the way that we think that they should present themselves. And if they don't, the world is wrong or everything else is wrong. And we refuse to look at ourselves, right? Because we come from a place of pessimism, right? We come from a place of fear, once again, and afraid of rejection. And we know that if we take accountability for certain things, it is going to force us to face that fear of failure, to face that fear of rejection. And it makes it very difficult for us to try new things, right? So there are different types of personalities. This comes from psychology. There's different types of personalities, and different types of personalities will struggle in certain areas of life. And trying new things and being able to be a chameleon in certain scenarios is very difficult for certain people, right? And this is, once again, going back to the kryptonite, that accountability is like kryptonite, because it's very difficult for us to then put ourselves in the limelight and say, you know what? I probably wasn't right in this situation, and I could have done things a little bit better. The next step would be, well, this is what I'm going to do better next, right? So there's flows to these things. And when you increase or raise your accountability, and then you start to gain a little bit of knowledge about yourself, and you start to raise your emotional intelligence. You start to really truly understand the way that you think, and you start to understand the way that others think around you. Then it makes it much easier to take accountability, right, for certain things in your life. So I wanted to just drop that in there because it really was sitting with me. I'm like, bro, this is literally the personality trait that that we talk about.
Well, that just goes to speak to the depth of the knowledge that we provide, like in some of our other classes and courses and things of that nature. You know, when it comes to the YouTube content and stuff like that, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Like, censorship is real. I've told y'all before. Like, there's certain content I can't talk about. My videos have been taken down. There's videos that y'all might have seen for 15 minutes, and you ain't never saw it again, or you never heard topics like that from me. The censorship is a genuine thing. So, you know, a lot of the content that you guys might really need, like that deeper content, we don't put it on our these YouTube platforms, the Facebook platforms, because we can't. That's one of the reasons why we develop our different programs, and then you guys have the opportunity to invest, and then you're able to dive deeper into this content. One of the things my mom taught me when I was younger is people tend to take care of things that they invest in. So, you know, I'm always encouraging people to invest in themselves, because you tend to take better care of yourself if you invest in yourself. You care. It's like a perpetual thing. If you don't invest in yourself, you tend to not take care of yourself. That's, I think, why self-care, I don't know if it was 2022 or 2021, but like I heard a lot of people talk about self-care. And I think, Stephen, you even talked a little bit about self-care and the illusion of self-care. What people think is self-care isn't even really self-care, right? Getting manis and petties. A lot of people will consider that self-care. What did you say, Steve? That's maintenance.
That's self-maintenance.
That's self-maintenance.
I mean, you getting a haircut, that's self-maintenance, right? You getting manis and petties, it's maintenance. They're all things that physically are helping you to maintain yourself, right? Self-care is saying no to the girls trip coming up this spring because you know that you have a goal of losing 100 pounds this year. Self-care is taking a class and saying, I need to learn more about myself. I need to learn about the things that make me tick, right? Self-care is going and taking a cooking class. So you say, well, Stephen, my trouble is I don't know how to cook, right? So it's easier for me to eat out, or it's easier for me to do, if I had the money, I could just do meal delivery, but I don't. So I don't know how to do that. Well, then take a little bit of money that you have saved and go take a cooking class. And then, yes, maybe they don't teach you the how to cook properly, right? And the foods that you necessarily want, but they teach you techniques. They teach you how to saute. They teach you how to bake. They teach you how to put something in the toaster and not burn it, right? I mean, these are things that are actually self-care. Self-care is learning what your coping skills are, learning how you cope, right? And then actively then employing or deploying coping skills in the right moments. This is actually self-care. And then not only that, you have different categories of self-care. See, this is deep. So you have social self-care, right? So going on the girls' trip or saying, I'm not doing that, social self-care. When your job asks you, hey, I need you to stay late. And you're like, man, it's Friday. I've been working late every day this week. And you say, you know what, Mr. Johnson, I can't do it today. I do apologize, but I'm going to go home. I'm not staying late today, right? That's career self-care, right? Financial self-care is taking money and putting it aside for just because you never know what's going to happen. Taking out $50 to $100 out of every paycheck and setting it aside. And then just saying, I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I just need money here just in case, right? And these categories continue. You have spiritual self-care, making sure that you are working on your spirituality, whether that is doing some yoga, whether that's meditating, whether it's doing journaling, right? There's about 8 or 9 different categories of different types of self-care. Manis and petties are not one of them. So we have this social media has got us to think that life is about luxury And we are tricked by these stars, and everybody will post these stars and these stars relationships. It's like, bro, these people are just that. They are people. They are you. They are me. They are no one special. Do they have talents? Absolutely. Right. But then we also understand the power of editing, the power of makeup, right? People aren't as beautiful as you think that they are. The power of surgery, right? So we overinflate the things that we see as put in our face from Hollywood and social media, as this is the way that we're supposed to be and act and respond. And because Kim K says, "Oh, self-care day," and she's going out shopping with her little bag and her Skims on, we think, "Oh, I need Skims, or I need to go shopping, and I need to go spend $300 on a Coach bag." You don't need any of that. None of that is going to help you get ahead in life. When you are buying these things, you are helping to promote someone else's dream. It's not doing anything for you, but giving you some status that really isn't real. Because if you really understand the rich and the wealthy and things like that, you don't see their money. You may see it in their home. You may see it if you look at their tax statements, right? But they're not wearing their money with these big Gucci, Chanel, right? And no shade to anybody, right? I got a Coach bag, right? But we just have to understand, like, and it's our mindset, right? But all of that really is self-care. And we're doing things thinking that we're doing things good for us. And actually, we're doing things that are actually hurting us. So this is why an investment into yourself and into learning, right, certain things that you may not know, or certain things that maybe YouTube University isn't going to teach you, is beneficial. My bad.
You're good. I'm gonna make space for you to breathe. I tell a story about this fast I did last year, 2 years ago, actually. Well, it's like 13 months ago. But I ended up in some severe pain from breaking the fast too soon. And I cannot tell you where I would be. I don't. If it weren't for the investment that I had put, the investment I put forth into my research and just having a wealth of different therapies available to me, I don't know where I would be, because I was in tremendous pain. Tremendous pain. Like we're talking a 7 out of 10. And for an extended period of time, 27 hours of pain, 7 out of 10 pain starts to mess with you.
Sounds like
you're in so much pain. You could feel your nerves just constantly and fortunately I had invested in a therapy, just doing some research years prior. And it just so happened that therapy helped me in that situation. I'm working on a therapy now. Huge investment, a huge financial investment. And the therapy I think is going to be a game changer. Still testing it, still learning about it. Scarred my face all up using it. But I don't see it as a bad thing. A lot of people probably see it as a bad thing. I joke. I told Steven I look like a monster before the live started. I've literally never had a scar on my face like this. That's crazy. But I do it because I am willing to invest in myself. You never know when that investment is going to bear fruit. And it's important, in my opinion, to get into the investor's mindset. I know a lot of times we talk about it from a financial standpoint. That's how I was introduced to it, being 21, reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and understanding the different cash flow quadrants. I was like, bro, I want to be an investor. I was like, business owner, investor. He broke down the employee, the self-employed, the investor, and the business owner. I was like, I want to be on this side. I want to be doing the business owner and the investing side. But what's crazy about it is, even though that information and knowledge was based on finances, I took it into other areas of my life. So when I started learning about the health and wellness thing, I saw a place for me to invest. So what's important is, even if finances is not y'all's thing, or whatever the case is, you want to grab from different areas of your life. Like, look at your life holistically, and bring elements that seem like they don't really coincide, and bring them into new arenas. Like, I'm really good at doing that, but it's also something that I practice. You guys want to, I think I talked about like the poverty mindset in a live stream pretty recently. Once again, we typically talk about the poverty mindset when it relates to finances, but that trickles into your health and wellness too, though. Like, if you're living paycheck by paycheck, it's very hard to make that investment in your health, because you live paycheck by paycheck and you have a mindset of scarcity. When you have a mindset of scarcity and lack, it's hard to say, oh, I'm going to do XYZ for my health, even though you want to. So even though we're really talking about health and wellness, it's like it's a holistic approach. That's why we call ourselves holistic wellness coaches. You want to eliminate the poverty mindset so that you can be successful in many different arenas, not just financially, which is what, we all want the finances, but what's the money going to do you if you're dying? It get you the same outcomes that got Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs had a whole lot of money. Like, whatever society teaches you, chase the bag, do this, do that. I always like, bro, I'm doing the opposite. Am I making money? Am I making investments? Yes, but I'm not chasing a bag. I'm chasing my purpose. Yeah, and also I'm building generational wealth for my family, not just monetarily speaking, but this holistic practice that I'm building, this knowledge base. You know what I mean? It's so much bigger than just the materialistic. The materialistic is important. Trust me, I understand that. I have my taste when it comes to material things is high, but it's all about balance. We don't want to get caught up. We don't want to make material things our God. And you want to have balance. If you're overly spiritual and you're just in the air floating around all the time, you need grounding. We need balance, right? Duality. Am I talking new age again?
You're definitely talking new.
That's definitely new age. All right. So Steve,
it was funny that you mentioned family. And you mentioned another word which just struck me, which was foundation, right? And earlier I wanted to tell you something, and we just didn't have time. So I said, you know what? I am a person that, if you guys know me, I am transparent as much as I can without involving or hurting others' lives. And this isn't necessarily a story about me or something that's going to hurt, anyone in particular. But I said, man, I'll just tell the world the story, right? We got like 100,000 people watching right now. You know what I mean? We gonna just, we on 4 or 5 different platforms. We got about 100,000 watching.
Yeah, about 100,000.
About 100,000 or so, give or take. You know what I mean?
Give or take 100,000.
You never know, man. But seriously, like, so I went out, right, and I was picking up some weights. I'm building out the weight room a little bit, and I was coming home, and I got a text message from my ex-wife, right, and she was telling me about her dad, so my father-in-law. And she was just like, my dad's in the hospital. And I'm just like, oh my God. All right, what's going on? And, she's freaking out, right? And she basically, as I'm taking the emotion out of the words and I'm looking at the words and I'm internalizing. And to make a long story short, she basically tells me that her dad is sick. He had a kidney stone. And it was really bad. Yeah. So when they go in to then remove the kidney stone, and he was really sick. And then as they're like trying to do the operation and everything, they find out that he's in sepsis. So for some of you who don't know, sepsis it's very common, and it is deadly. It will kill you. And what it basically means, without getting too deep, is that a bacteria that should not be inside of the blood has found a way to enter into the bloodstream, and it has now began to cause infections. And sometimes this can be something that has come about out of the blue, so to speak, or it can be due to old things that you have gone through, or how you've lived your life, and you have bacteria, toxins in your body, but somehow they've gotten to your bloodstream. Okay. So as I was talking to her, she was just like, I just don't understand. He's changed his life. And, in the last 3 to 4 years, he's been trying to eat better. He's lost weight. He cut out sugar. And I just was like, listen, I get it. I understand. But I said, here's something that you really you're not thinking about. At 55, 60 years old, right? You've lived your life in a very loose manner with the things that you eat, the substances that you put into your body, right? The environment you surround yourself. And yes, the last 5 years has been great, and you have done well the last 5 years. He's done well the last 5 years. I said, but the one thing about the body is that, and there's a book by this name, and I love to use this, but the body keeps score. The body does not forget, okay? The subconscious doesn't forget. And there are things that we have ingested. There are things that we have done in our party days. There's damage that we have done in our teens, our 20s, our 30s, right? That you have not done anything to address the history or the foundation of the health, right? What he has done is he started to make changes, which is great, but what have you done about the foundation? And she just was like, well, I don't understand. Like, when you make changes, things change. And I was like, I can understand how you feel that way, and I can understand how you think that. And I said, well, think about it this way. If we go and we're going to, I say, I want to redo the living room, right? And or redo the kitchen. Let's use the kitchen. And I go out and I go to Sears, I go to Lowe's, I buy the cabinets, I buy all this stuff, right? In order for me to redo the kitchen, I have to do a couple things. The first thing I need to do is demolition, right? I have to demo everything. I have to take everything out, right? All of the bulk. I have to take the cabinets, the refrigerator. I got to take the sink. I have to remove all that stuff, right? And then what you're thinking is that then you can just put everything in, right? Plug and play. But there's a critical step that you're missing. And I literally had this conversation. And I said, there needs to be a cleaning of the foundation, right? You would never just demo and then pick up the big stuff and then put in the trash and then put in everything new. You would clean, right? You would come in, you would mop the floor, you would dust, you would vacuum, you would put new paint up, right? You're changing whatever. You're going to clean the foundation. And that is, and when it comes to health, something that he did not address. He did not address the 30, 40, 50, 60 years of damage and living loosely with his health. And now these things are really starting to pick up. They removed a kidney stone the size of a golf ball.
What?
A golf ball.
No.
I'm telling you verbatim, she told me. A golf ball, right? He's been in pain for years.
Oh my God.
So why would you not say anything, right?
That's men.
Number one, we don't like to address our health, right? Number two, pride or hubris. Like, I was like, you know what I do. Kind of, she knows, but she really does it, right? But you know that I'm in health. Like, why would you not have him say something to me, right? Pride, right? Pride is, or hubris is the downfall of men. Pride becomes before the fall. Now it's the fall, right? So I said, listen, tell him to reach out. Let's start working up and cleaning up this diet, right? But more than just cleaning up the diet, the one thing that he needs to do, and we all should know at this point what this is the big D word, detox.
Detox.
Right? And this is why detoxification is so important, because you would never go into a kitchen and say, I'm going to redo my kitchen and then just take everything out and put everything new in. You would detox the kitchen, or you would clean the kitchen. My mom used to come home and she would say, I'm not cooking in a dirty kitchen. So if y'all want to eat, you need to clean. Why? Because you don't put anything new on top of something old.
That's right.
If you are going to be redoing the building and they demo the building, they're going to most likely look and address the foundation. Whether they redo the foundation or re-pour it, or they're going to repair the foundation. And that's what, and a lot of times in our health, we don't focus on. We don't focus on the repair, or we don't focus on the cleansing before we do the rebuilding. We just think, oh, well, I changed my diet. Right? I started working out. Everything is good. No, you never address the damage. You never address the things that have been happening the last 20, 30, 40 years. And this is the part about fasting that there, in my eyes, there's nothing that does this better, nothing that does it faster than fasting, right? It's actually going through the process of cleansing cellularly, of going in and actually going through the process of autophagy and removing zombie cells and sentient cells, right? And then eating up free radicals. I just saw a post that said that they're planning to see like a 20% jump or something, some crazy number in cancer patients this year. Unprecedented amount of numbers.
Under the age of 50, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
An unprecedented amount of people, right? And why is this? It is because we are living in an age where things are more toxic than ever, right? Not only are we living in an age where things are more toxic than ever, we're also living in an age where our food is less potent than ever as well. So you think, oh, I'm eating a watermelon and it says that I'm getting X and X type of, protein, and I'm getting carbs, and I'm getting sugars, and I'm getting vitamins. Well, you're probably getting about 80% less than what it actually says you're getting.
Yeah.
So if you understand that the soil, due to the farming, has been destroyed, right? Which means that we're getting our knowledge of vitamins and minerals from Google or whatever they do, and then they come up with these numbers and say, well, yes, you have this amount of percentage of vitamin C inside of your oranges. Well, you have to reduce that because it's not that much. Because you don't know where it came from. You don't know if it came from Florida. You don't know if it came from California. You don't know if it came from Jamaica. You don't know where it came from, right? And even if you do, you don't know the farmer. You didn't test the soil. So you have to assume that you're getting less. So how is it that we are able to then, number one, get the nutrients that we need in order to help rebuild the system after we go through periods of fasting? And how can we do that together? And how can we do it quickly? I have an answer. If you have not got to the answer yet, I'm going to give it to you. The answer is going to be juice fasting. It's one of the best ways to actually go through. And then number one, you use the fasting. So you get the autophagy, which goes through and cleans up the dead and damaged cells, and you clean up the 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years of damage that you've been doing, right? So you clean that up, and then at the same time, you are able to then remineralize, you're able to revitalize and get the vitamins that you need, because you're not just eating one orange, you would be getting the same amount of nutrition, but you would be getting it from 20. Right? Mm-hmm. Because we understand that the soil has been depleted, we need that.
Right.
This is why juicing, whether it's fasting or whether it is in just adding it to your regimen, is such a benefit, because it's very difficult to get that amount of produce at one time. But if you can do it, and then you can do it in a way that's bioavailable and it's easy to absorb through juicing, then that is how you can then heal yourself as well as rebuild yourself, right? You get rid of the infections, you get rid of the bacteria that's hiding deep within the third core of the liver, right? You get rid of, you can use the vitamin C from the oranges and the grapefruits and the lemons and the limes to help clean out the kidneys, so you don't have to have spend years in pain and then have to have surgery, right? All this can be avoided, right? So this is one of the tools that we utilize in holistic wellness, and it's a very powerful tool as well.
It's extremely powerful. We you know, when I very first started talking about fasting, we really exclusively talked about water fasting. And as time progressed, I realized that there was a need to talk about different forms of fasting, not just for the simple fact that, you know, different forms of fasting can be a little bit more palatable for people who are either new to fasting or just struggle with water, but because what I learned very early on is each fasting modality actually gives you different results. They're not all the same.
They're not.
Are you going to lose weight on every fasting method? Yeah, pretty much. You know, are you going to reduce inflammation? And there's a certain amount of things that you're going to see in each fasting modality. But what I've learned between juice, water, and dry fasting, they also have areas of expertise. It's almost like they're listening like standard American doctors. It's like standard American medical, where they have their specialty. And juice, I found, is detoxification. It's the specialty of the juice fast. Detoxification. So I want to make sure that we're clear, because I saw a little bit of questions and things going on in the comment section. What Stephen is talking about, most people will say, okay, I need to change my diet, which we do. We eat a standard American diet. So your body is a temple. Your body is this house. Your body is the kitchen that needs to be remodeled. And instead of demoing and detoxing and repairing cracks in the foundation and all those things we talked about, you just simply change your diet. You change what you put in the kitchen. Instead of the processed foods, you're putting fruits and vegetables. But all of the damage that had been done from utilizing this kitchen up until this point, not really maintaining it and taking care of it properly, that damage is still there. So by changing your diet and not dealing with the damage, are you going to slow down the decomposition of your kitchen or your temple? Yes, you are. You're going to get more out of what you have. But if you really want to address the root problems, you have to go and you have to do that full demo. You have to do the knocking down on the walls. You got to do the open concept. You have to detox. You got to do the juice fast, right? And there's many different ways to detox, but right now, AHA, we have group challenges that we promote probably 4 times a year or so. And right now, this is the first challenge for the year. We are going to be hosting our JR72. Yep, you got it, y'all. We are hosting our Juice Fast Challenge. And this is the part where people get all up in arms. They've been sitting here listening to all the free content. Oh, they're on fire tonight. And then I say, we got this juice challenge coming up where you're going to get more of this concentrated to really help you get a very specific outcome. And you got to invest something in it. Now you have to take all that you heard tonight, compute that, quantify it, and say, I'm going to take action. If your initial reaction to investing in yourself is aversion, this is what we've been talking about all night. It's not taking accountability for where you are in life. There is nothing of value that is free. Now, when I say free, I'm not always talking about monetarily. this unconditional love thing, that is not free. It doesn't just happen. There are conditions on people's love. There are things you could do to lose people's love. It's not a beautiful thing. We don't like to think about it, but the reality is, how many times have you seen a mother and a son, or a mother and a daughter at odds with each other? What happened to the unconditional love? There are conditions on love. So even love has to be earned or maintained to a degree. Okay? The things that we value the most in life, the things that are going to be valuable to us, we have to work for. They say the best things in life are free. That's one of those quotes that we repeat without truly understanding what that is. That quote is not the way we interpret that quote. We are specifically talking about materialistic things. We're talking about surface level things, right? The best things in life are free. Okay, a car is not free. That's a materialistic thing. What's free is love, the love of a mother. That's free, but it's not. You got to work for that too. It's just you can't pay for it. The best things in life you can't pay for. Free, we interpret free as we don't got to do nothing for it. Your health, the best thing in life, your health, the whole health is wealth. You can't pay for it. You can't pay for health. You have to invest in yourself. You can't just give me $5 and I can give you health in return. You have to do the work. You got to invest. You got to be the captain of your wellness ship. You can invest in the knowledge that'll help you, be healthy, right? You can invest in a support group. You can invest in things around health, but the health, you got to do that yourself. That don't come free. Unfortunately, we have to fight for our health in this particular reality. Even though I do feel like we are equipped to be healthy, right? The body wants to be healthy. Unfortunately, that's just not the world we live in. We live in a world where our air is polluted, our water is polluted, our food is polluted, our soil is polluted. So we have to work to maintain our health. But that's okay, because at the end of the day, we value things we work for. Y'all can take a personal account of your life. Think about things that were given to you free, and then think about things that you worked for and compare how you value those things. So we've got the JR72 going on, but we're going to do something special. We'll say this challenge. We'll see how things go. We might do it all year long, but for this challenge, we want to give you guys a special gift. So for everybody who registers for the challenge, if you purchase a registration above the $98 basic registration, okay, so we have a basic registration is $98. If you guys purchase a registration above the basic registration, we're going to enter you automatically for a chance to win a Nama J2 juicer. Not the cheap one, just the big boy.
Oh, well, first of all, hold on a second. Don't try to play people with the J1, because the J1 is still expensive. Don't play people.
I'm not even saying. Maybe it wasn't even maybe it wasn't a Nama. Maybe it could have been what do they call it? A green
Green
the
Star?
Walmart brand. Green Star is an expensive brand.
Oh yeah, you
Star,
talking Walmart brand?
Yeah, look at the Walmart brand.
Hamilton Bay.
The Hamilton Beach Bay.
Yeah, I don't know one of them.
We're not hitting y'all with the $100, $50 Hamilton Beach, whatever it is. No, we hitting you guys with the juicer we use,
with the big boy.
Yeah. If you guys already got one, you have a great Christmas gift, or put it on eBay. I don't know. Bless somebody else in the group. The best way. Look, this is bro. This is the perfect year to put out good energy. You know what I mean? So the challenge starts January 28th. We want to make this transition very simple for you all. If you're confused, you don't understand detoxification, you don't understand the benefit of detoxification, join us. Pay for the knowledge. Pay for the knowledge, and then you'll have it, and you can take it along with you, and you can share it with other people. You can apply it to your life. And I guarantee you, if you invest in yourself, not just monetarily, you can't just pay the registration fee. That's not it. I need you guys there. I need you to join the live streams. If you can't join the live, I need you to come watch the replay. When you have questions, I need you to post. I need you to interact in the feed. I need you to watch the core content that comes with the challenge. If you invest that time into yourself over the next 30 days, it will bear fruit. It has to. It's a law of nature. It's that new age stuff, Stephen.
It is definitely that new age, but I said something in the communities. I posted a reel, and the reel was about I think it was about temptation. I don't know, it was boundaries. And I said, you know what? Because a lot of people have been reaching out on my Instagram and the community, and they were just like, this is the type of content I need, right? Like, not obviously not saying that they don't need the fasting information, because we definitely do, right? But for people that have been around for a little while, right? It's just like, I need something more, right? I need this, but I need a little, you know? Sometimes, like, if you're eating, like, let's say if you're eating salad all the time, sometimes you just want a cruciferous vegetable, right? Sometimes you want a root, maybe a yam or a potato. Sometimes you just want a little something.
Weight.
Got a little weight to it, right? So I said, I understand, right? And I am going to make it I'm going to go out of my way, and I am going to ensure that not only, and if you guys have been in the last couple challenges, you know that I've been doing a lot of lives. You know that I'm very active. So you know when I say this, I mean it, right? But I'm going to be doing, of course, my normal, detoxification type situation. But I'm thinking that I may put together a string of lives where we're specifically going to be talking about some of our emotions and the mental processes during this time. These are things that I typically talk about that are in other programs, right? Or in the app. But I'm going to specifically, for this challenge, be addressing some of these items that are going to assist. And I just want you to know that if you've been listening and you've been hearing the type of things that me and Chris specialize in different things, and if some of this stuff that I've said tonight has resonated, it's going to be a lot of this during this challenge, as well as, of course, the detoxification, right, and the different juicing recipes, things of that nature that you're going to get. But also, I specifically have said I'm going to help people this challenge work on some of these emotional things during the challenge itself. You're going to be getting homework from me if you decide that you want to be joining during this process. And we're it's the beginning of the year, and I know Chris hasn't really said this yet, but AHA is there's a reason that this is the first challenge of the year. It is the I will say the easiest of the challenges, right? But it also, as Chris stated, right, this is very intentional. The juice fasting does one thing very well, which helps with detoxification. So we get in, we clean the slate, we wipe the foundation, and then we start moving into different things after that. So this whole year is a process that is very specifically and intentionally designed. And I want to help you with some of these things in our mindset, things that are going to help us to mentally get to that next level. Because as you go through this wellness process, it's not just physical, it's not just weight loss. And a lot of people are still there, and I get that. But when you start to get past that, there's a whole nother world, a whole nother dimension that you're going to enter into when it starts dealing with your mental and your emotions. right? Starting to set boundaries with people and how to then communicate those boundaries with people. There's an entire another world that you need to then learn to not only get to that state, right? And get to that space of wellness, but the maintaining of it. And that is not just about what you eat. It's about managing the people around you, managing your emotions. And this is the definition of emotional intelligence, but it's not just managing your own, but it's also being able to sense and manage the emotions and feelings of others around you. So when you get to a certain place, you're not going to be the one that's going to necessarily always throw you off track. More than not, the things and people around you are going to throw you off track more than anything else. And this is why a lot of people get stuck in this wheel, because they feel great. They're in motion, they're in the challenge, and things are going good. Then they get outside of it, and they're just like, well, I don't know. Well, what do I do now? Right? We have to understand how to manage people and ourselves. It's not just about what you eat, right? Because you can be eating all the right things. And I know you guys are going to understand this. You can be eating all the right things. And if you are stressed out, if your cortisol is high because you're just constantly stressed, guess what's going to happen? You're going to start gaining weight, right? Mm-hmm. So there's other tools that you need.
Yep.
Maybe some of these new age things, you need to open yourself up to a little bit of that, right? You know what I mean? But we're going to talk about some of that too, man. So I just want you to know that it's not just going to be about, right, the core of the challenge, but I specifically, and you have, once again, there's a bunch of coaches, but I specifically am going to also be helping people focus on their mental and helping to relieve themselves of some of this old emotional trauma as well.
We have potentially we have a special coach that's going to be joining us on this next challenge as well. I'm not going to announce it now. You guys know this individual. Some of y'all. It's going to be crazy. But you have to find out when you join. You have to find out who the new coach is. Some of y'all OGs are going to freak out. Steven, we got a super like.
Hey, that's my boy.
Is that Nigel? Is that how he says?
Yeah. Yep.
Nigel Berry. Hit that like button, subscribe, hit the bell. Y'all know what it is to show your support by action. You know, a lot of people, they overlook my famous quote that I say at the end of every show. The application of knowledge is power. Why does that go over y'all's heads so quickly, so easily? I've been saying it for years, and very few people really catch on to that. We were taught that knowledge was power. No, it's not. It really is not. We have to be willing to challenge these fundamental beliefs that we've always had, because you got to look at outcomes, right? You have a belief system that has gotten you as far as you've got in life. So if you have these fundamental beliefs and you're regurgitating this stuff and you're not getting the outcomes you want, it's time to shake it up. Knowledge is not power. Applied knowledge is power. Only applied knowledge is power. Only. I know so many people, going back to the Rich Dad, Poor Dad example. What did Robert Kiyosaki talk about? His rich dad was a businessman. His poor dad was an educator. You know, a highly intelligent man. So why wasn't the highly intelligent man the rich dad? He didn't do nothing with all that knowledge. He had all the knowledge in the world, didn't do nothing with it. Whereas his rich dad had less knowledge, but did a lot more with what he had. You don't have to be a genius. You don't have to be a superstar. You don't have to have special talent. This health and wellness thing is your birthright. Your body, every cell in your body wants to support you in this journey. You know what to do, even if you don't realize it. All you have to do is take whatever little knowledge you have and apply it. Be consistent and engage. Take the reins of your ship or your horse. Take the helm. Take the helm and start driving. Be accountable. Be exposed. Be okay with being wrong. Learn, adapt, grow. This is how you're going to progress. Aren't you tired? Stephen, you sent me a text the other day that I don't know if you realized it because I probably didn't respond like this. You sent me a text the other day that really rocked my core, man. You know what text you sent me? No idea, huh?
I mean,
You scared to say. You scared to
No,
guess.
I don't really know. Not that rocked your core. I haven't even. We don't be texting much.
No, I don't talk to you like that. But it was about a young lady who joined our group at the end of 2022 and reported losing 140 pounds in 1 year of rocking with the AHA community. That type of, bro, like that, I don't know what to say about that. Like that seems unreal to me. I know, y'all, because we have the interviews, right? I got an interview coming Sunday. Y'all gonna like that. I got an interview coming Sunday. Y'all gonna like, but you see these interviews. He lost 200 pounds. 144 pounds. 100 pounds. And you would think I'd be jaded by now, but I'm not. Especially when someone says, yo, Chris, I found the AHA community. I stuck with it. I did what I needed to do. I was consistent. I posted. I engaged. And over the course of a year, I dropped an entire human being worth of weight. Man, it doesn't get no better than that for me, man. Like those types of reports, those testimonials. And it's like every single one of y'all, that person's not special. She just came, engaged, applied the knowledge that she learned. I think, if I'm not mistaken, started with the R72 challenge or the R72.
Yeah. Oh, the big sticking point to that also was that it's her. She hit her goal. Like I'm where I want it to be, right? Which is you have people that have lost 100 pounds. You have people that lost 200 pounds, right? We have people that lost 250 pounds. They're still not where they want to be.
Yeah.
Right. So it was just like it was I understand now. But yes, the way that you responded was not you didn't respond like this.
And I've been busy, man.
This how y'all don't know, man. Dylan Chris, I'd be saying stuff to him. I'd just be, he'd be like, all right, cool. And then all of a sudden now on a live, it rocked his world. But that's Chris.
It made me feel incredibly good to know that something that we have built has helped someone who was committed to the process. What is 1 year of your life to reach your weight loss goal? And don't get it twisted. I'm sure there's a lot that came with that, right? There's a lot of other benefits that came with that weight loss goal. The weight loss is the icing on the cake. It's the big flashy thing. It's maybe even the original reason why you wanted to start this whole thing. But we have a really proven system here. We have a proven system. And the reality is, if you guys take accountability for your actions, you can then start really working the system. Like, don't make excuses, right? One of my favorite quotes from when we was younger is, those that want to find a way, those that want to do something, they'll find a way. Those that don't want to do something, they'll find an excuse. These are old quotes, things that when I was in my self-improvement phase, hard, heavy, that I would say, you gotta embody this stuff. Like, either you're going to find an excuse or you're going to find a way. Life isn't here to coddle you. Nobody owes you anything. Nothing in life is free. Nothing worth having, nothing of value is free. You have to work for it. So I'm very interested to see what this challenge brings, what this year brings. I think that you guys can be that next person. It's like, bro, I met y'all in 2023, or I met y'all in 2024. Here it is, 2025, or the end of 2024. I've dropped 100 pounds. I've dropped 80 pounds. I've dropped whatever. Not only did I hit my weight loss goal, I built confidence, self-confidence. I understand my character traits better now. Because I understand my character traits better, I've learned to communicate more efficiently. When you don't dig your head in the sand and try to run from responsibility and accountability, you can be like, okay, you know what? That was my bad. I'm going to do better next time. You can improve. People are going to like you more. And then what do they try to teach us? It doesn't matter what anybody thinks. That matters so much, because we are a people that like to be around other people, to the point where I would even say we need to be around other people. You know? Love is important. It should matter what other people think. Not to the point where you allow it to control you, right? I'm not saying that an individual should be able to tell you what to do and what they think matters so much, because people are going to think different things. But what I'm saying is, generally speaking, right? It should matter if people think generally you're a good person or not, or if people think that you're not a good person. That should matter. I know we're taught, oh, it doesn't matter. It does matter. It matters for many different reasons. There was this TikToker that I saw earlier, and this, I think I might even do a reaction to this, because this kind of pissed me off. But I'm not familiar with a lot of this content that's out there. There's a TikToker who is a personal trainer. Now, I don't know her dimensions, but just from looking at her, she's a thicker girl, okay? And there's nothing wrong with being a thick personal trainer. That's not what bothered me at all. What bothered me was the rhetoric. She said that if you are intentionally looking to lose weight, if you are being intentional about losing weight, you are fat phobic. I said, what? She said, if you are doing anything with intention to lose weight and manipulate your body to be smaller, you are fat phobic. I said, this is not reality. Like, this is a game show or a video game or the Truman movie. Like, someone, and she was convicted. She was saying this with conviction. She believed this. No, you're not fat phobic for wanting to lose weight. You've just learned to take accountability and not be a victim. That's all. You prioritize your health over other things. That's good. Why is that a bad thing? Why are we shunned in the wellness community for prioritizing our health over BS? It's okay to go and get that bag. It's okay to go and eat at McDonald's, get them steak dinners. You know, one thing I see, a trend that I see, especially in the world of influencers, whether they're comedians or they teach real estate or they teach whatever, as they start to get that bag that everybody is chasing, they start having steak and lobster. They're eating out every day. They're door dashing every day. Because why not? It's nothing to them anymore. They can have as much food as they want, the highest quality of food every night. And they slowly but surely get bigger and bigger and bigger. Face off, inflamed. You start seeing posts of them in a hospital. Hey, y'all, pray for me. Da 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 da. For what? You're going to exchange your health for a bag? That doesn't make sense. So you're going to work until you're literally sick to get a bag. You're going to reward yourself with toxic things and toxic food to then exchange the money that you earned to get that bag to now try to get your health back. You're hustling backwards. Hustling backwards. Hit the like button, y'all. I know I just got myself. I know I'm not going. They might cancel me for that, man. You're not allowed to speak against that fat phobic rhetoric.
Man, listen. Fat equals stored toxins. I don't care if it's in the glutes. I don't care if it is in the thighs. I don't care if it's in all the right places. I don't care if it's in the chest. I don't care if it doesn't matter where it's at, right? It is stored toxins. And it is a mindset that we as a community have to move away from. We just have to simply move away from that. And it's something that we all have to work on and stop accepting as this is just okay. Now, granted, I know this woman you're talking about, and she doesn't even fall into that category, right? That I think that she's actually a doctor, who she's got. I've seen another video with her as well. I think, where I said, "You have to, girl. You are scary. Like, how did you get a degree? How did you get anyone to say that you're a professional?" We have to take control of our own health, right? And I think Chris will agree, but I think that in general, there's definitely a place for the white coats, right? I think that Western medicine has its place in the world, particularly in trauma, and they do a really good job of cutting things out of the body. So if you get to the point where you need something removed, they do a great job of that. I would not want to go to necessarily a holistic naturopath, right? There's certain things that they're good at, right? But when it comes to your general health, right? So instead of going to a general practitioner or your general family doctor, that should be Dr. Sun, Dr. Water, right? Dr. Exercise, Dr. Movement, Dr. Vitamin C, Dr. Vitamin D, right? Dr. Magnesium, Dr. Zinc, right? Dr. Minerals, Dr. Juicing, Dr. Smoothies, Dr. Whole Greens, Dr. Vegetables, right? This is Dr. Fasting. You should be your own Dr. Herb, right? I just keep thinking of them, right? But you should be focused on taking care of your own general health on a day-to-day. And then we should be thinking about going to the medical field or Western medicine more for emergencies or things that maybe we can't do. Maybe you need imaging, or maybe you need a test done or something like that, right? But as we started, we're going to end and bring this full circle, right? But you need to be the captain of your own wellness ship and taking the reins and taking accountability for your personal life, because I promise you, and here's the hard truth, I promise you that if something were to happen to you and then you were to get sick and you were to die, there's one thing I can promise you: the world will move on. Your kids will move on. Your husband will move on. Your job will move on. When I got to the point where I was able to leave my ex, where I said I have to leave because I was on the bus riding home from work because the kids were in daycare and I was sacrificing everything to help this woman. I'm not even gonna get into that, right? But I was on the bus riding home after working 10 hours and then having to take an hour and a half ride home on the bus. And I said, you know what? If I were to die because I am so sick, this girl would maybe have one picture of me in the house, but she would move on and be on to another man shortly after me. And by golly, as soon as we broke up, not even 2 months after the relationship ended, we were still married. We're still trying to figure out what's going to happen. She's in a Facebook official relationship 2 months after we separate. 2 months. So when I tell you that You have to put yourself first. Nothing else matters. Because guess what? If you can't get up in the morning because you're in pain, nothing else matters. If you can't take your kids and go play with them or drive them around because your legs are so swollen, you got lymphedema that's so crazy you can't even get out of bed because it hurts to get out of bed, right? What's the point of even taking care of your kids? You can't take care of yourself. You get to the point where you're so depressed, you're like, I don't even want to be here anymore. I knew people, I had friends of mine who, before I got them on their wellness journey, were so desperate. I know a woman who tried to kill herself. I don't even know if I can say that, right? She tried to delete herself by taking Tylenol, right? Now, granted, of course, they can hurt you, but you take 10 of them, you're not necessarily going to be gone. That's probably not the best way to do that, right? But that's all she thought. Like, I don't know what else to do, and I just am tired of living. Luckily, right, she's still here, and then I was able to help her. This is a friend of mine, right? Your health, and if you're not there, then that's good. That's a good thing. But I promise you, if you can find a way to just grab a little bit of that desperation and then put yourself in the mindset that nothing else matters except getting my health in order, and then you become desperate, right? Because we've heard of desperate is a bad thing, right? But oh no, desperation is a very powerful energy. It's motivating. It'll keep you driven, right? But if you can get into the frame of desperation of, Stephen, I'm going to do anything I need to do in order to then get healthy, I promise you, you will have success. If you look at anybody on the AHA channel that has had success, you look at anybody that's done well, I guarantee after speaking to them, I will find an inch of desperation. They were willing to do whatever it took. And that's the mindset that it takes. And if you can put yourself in that mindset, then you will have success. And then you will be open to then learn new things, because when you start clearing that brain fog up and you start feeling more confident about yourself, you get open to then trying new things. You get open to saying, you know what, I don't need this job. I can go get another job, and I'm worth more than this. I can leave this abusive relationship because I'm worth more than this, right? You can, your whole life will open up. And that's the part that I can't quantify for you truly until you go through it. But if you look at me 7 years ago, before I started this journey, and you look at me today, I'm completely different. I'm not the same person. The way that I think, the way that I walk, the way that I talk, my confidence, my finances, my spirituality, nothing is the same. And all of that comes at the start of having a spark of desperation. A spark. That's it. Right? I mean, you have this challenge, $98 to at the bottom, right? Which I mean, for real, you think about that, you quantify that, people think, oh, it's $98. You're gonna spend $98 on a pair of shoes. You're gonna spend $98 on 2 or 3 nights of DoorDash. You're gonna spend $98 to go bowling. You'll spend $98 to go out to the club. It's Friday night. You might be thinking, I'm about to go out tonight. I'm getting ready. There's somebody getting ready to go out while they're listening to the live. I guarantee it. Because we got 100,000 people watching. There's somebody about to go out.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere, baby.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere. It's 8 o'clock in Texas. 9 o'clock on the East Coast on a Friday night. Oh, somebody's over there with a glass of red. Listening to Stephen Michael and Chris James. 3 bottles of wine. You got your challenge money. Man, stop playing. It's worth every penny. The challenges should be 3 times as much as they are. The amount of money that I pay for courses and stuff, people tell us all the time, you should pay more. You should charge more for this. All the time.
All the time.
That's my bad, man. I'm hot, man.
Hey, man, I see. They said you detoxing tonight.
Oh, I am. Yeah, I've been holding.
Yeah.
I got a lot of. Well, I mean that situation with my ex's dad really kind of got under my skin, because like, this doesn't need to happen. This doesn't need to happen, right? And it really bothered me.
An ounce of prevention is better than a pound of cure. I do like that.
Yeah.
I do like that one. We often wait until the final moment to make a change. Don't wait till the final moment. You guys are here. You're in a position to invest in yourself. Things might be bad. You might be at your worst, maybe, or you might not be. But you have the opportunity. You're hearing it. You know, people say, God, send me a sign. God, da, da, da. God, help me, help me. And you're looking for basically a genie to pop out of a bottle and just fix all your problems with a wish. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. You got to be willing to put in that work, that effort. You got to be willing to invest. And I like to think of it as a minimal investment. If there's a will, there's a way. If you're looking to accomplish something, you will find a way to accomplish it. We are highly intelligent creatures. You'll DoorDash. Get in your car, you'll DoorDash. You know, GoFundMe. Hey guys, I want to get my wellness together. I need $98. Whatever the case is, if you don't want to do something, you will find an excuse. Remember that and take accountability for the actions that you take. All right, y'all. We appreciate you. Shout out to Sheila. You guys are awesome. So glad I found you. Listen, we appreciate y'all. I tell you guys all the time, I do not take your attention for granted. Your attention, everyone is vying for your attention. Do you all understand that? Your attention is the untapped resource. It is the gold. It's the oil. Your attention, everybody wants it. And I do not take it for granted that you are giving it to us. You are paying us attention. It is the greatest payment I could ever receive. Paying attention. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your night, your weekend. Challenge starts next week, next Sunday. Between now and then, make a decision. Come join us and get these outcomes, man. 140 pounds in 1 year. That's incredible. Shout out to her. I'm going to keep her name and content under wraps for now until she decides to interview, and then we can talk about her journey. Steve, you got anything else?
No, man. Somebody said we need an X-toxing challenge. So like detox, but an X detox.
An X detox?
Yeah, I've already been through mine. That's part of this. That's part of this process, y'all.
Yeah.
It's part of this process, man. But I promise you, you get past them, man. When you get past them, man, if you in a situation you feel like, I don't know how I'm ever going to get over them, I promise you will. And then when you do it, you're going to look back and say, what was I thinking?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, like, where was I in life where I thought that this was what I was worth? And when you start to feel like that, your world really does open up to you.
It's hard to think with mucus on the brain. Remember that. All right, y'all. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. We're out of here.